Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Emma Wolforst. We begin with the very latest from Kansas City. Police say they have detained 3 people, 2 of whom are juveniles, in their investigation into yesterday's deadly mass shooting at the end of the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl celebration. Tonight, all but 3 of the children wounded have been discharged, as have most adults. Kansas City's police chief says they've ruled out terrorism as a motive.
This appeared to be a dispute between several people that ended in gunfire. The 22 victims' age ranged between 8 years old and 47 years old. At least half of our victims are under the age of 16.
And there was a 23rd victim, Lisa Lopez Galvan, a popular DJ and mother of 2, was killed. Her son is among those recovering from being shot. Some fans sprang into action when they spotted what they thought was one of the gunmen.
After they tackled the guy, I guess the gun fell out and it had landed right at my feet. So I looked down and I just immediately thought that I needed to get it away. So I took it and put it over by that wall that was near me.
While police recovered several guns tonight, it is not clear if that person tackled by fans is among people being detained by police. 2 of the detainees are described as teenagers. And a late update just in from one of the hospitals. The youngest person wounded yesterday is just 6 years old, but we're told they're going to be okay.
On day 22 of the Michelle Trones trial, jurors are learning where the divorce stood between Jennifer Farber-Dulos and Fotis Dulos right before Jennifer went missing.
And to end the day, a major development involving the mention of a contempt hearing for Trones for potentially displaying sealed documents on her computer during the trial. Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc has the latest.
On May 25th, 2019, the day after Jennifer Farber-Dulos went missing, attorney Michael Meehan got a phone call from her estranged husband, Fotis Dulos.
He stated to me, "Mike, have you heard the news?" I replied, "No." He then stated, "Jennifer is missing." I noticed the tone in his voice to not be down or somber, but to be more excited.
Meehan began working with Fotis and Jennifer 2 years prior as a guardian, representing the kids during their divorce. At that time, Fotis had goals involving his then-girlfriend, Michelle Trones.
It was his goal to have everyone live in the house together, that being Ms. Dulos, along with the children, along with Ms. Trones and her daughter as well.
But as time went on, in March of 2019, Fotis was only allowed to see his children under supervision, and Trones wasn't allowed to be there.
What would Michelle Trones and her daughter have to do?
Not be present.
Something Meehan says Fotis was worried about.
He was concerned that the continued litigation would have an adverse impact on his relationship with Ms. Trones.
What did she sound like on the phone?
She was down as well. She was frustrated. She had expressed disappointment and really just a lack of understanding as to why the court had not allowed access between her and the children.
Well, first they asked for our video.
Earlier in the day, jurors heard from Fotis's Farmington neighbor, Garrison Hudkins. He also spoke with Fotis shortly after Jennifer went missing.
He asked me how long we retained our security video and to make sure it didn't get deleted because he needed to prove that he was there on Friday.
Hudkins checked his surveillance cameras, seeing this 5 days after Jennifer went missing, showing the red Toyota Tacoma with a rental car trailing behind. He handed it over to police.
Based upon the fact of what we had learned from the media at that point in time and the visits to North End, I had 2 cars leaving in tandem, which was not consistent with normal vehicle movement patterns.
The defense pointing this out during cross-examination.
But you wouldn't consider Mr. Dulos a friend, would you?
I would not.
In fact, when you talked to the police, you told them that he was condescending towards women.
He was very condescending to my wife.
You found that a little offensive, I take it?
I did.
Outside of court Thursday, Trones' mom speaking with reporters.
It has been a tragedy for us, and I'm sure it's a tragedy for the Farber family too. But we want this to end and to my daughter to be okay again and to regain our life.
At the end of the day, the state raising concerns about Trones potentially displaying sealed divorce documents on her computer for the public to see during the course of the trial. If that's the case, the judge says that's in violation of a court order and could possibly result in a contempt hearing. He says they'll take that up first thing tomorrow morning. We're in Stamford. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Julia. Southington police are looking to speak with anyone who may have witnessed a crash on I-84 in Southington early this morning. Police say an SUV traveling in the middle lane veered into the left lane and crashed into another SUV. Both went off the left shoulder and rolled over. Police say the driver of the SUV that was hit was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The other driver has minor injuries. Anyone with any information on this crash should call state police.
We now know that firefighters found a person dead inside a home that caught fire in Chaplin earlier this week. Investigators have not shared that person's identity. The fire sparked on Willimantic Road Tuesday morning. Part of the house collapsed. Officials say the house is a total loss and will be demolished. There's no word yet on what caused that fire. And Bloomfield police have identified the person killed in a house fire earlier this week there. Police say 20-year-old Jermaine Armstrong Jr. died in a fire at a home on Alexander Road. The state medical examiner determined there was no criminal aspect to his death. The cause of the fire remains under investigation.
The man facing charges in connection to a deadly stabbing in Hartford last year appeared in court today. Byron Williams is charged with murder. He's accused of stabbing Kendall Jones back in November on Albany Avenue. Jones was found inside his car outside the hospital and was pronounced dead. Williams is being held on $1 million bond. Well, getting your nose out of your phone and into a book, replacing texting with talking.
Governor Ned Lamont is proposing a solution to curb distractions at school by removing student cell phones from classes. But how effective would that be? Fox 61's Matt Karen explores the issue.
Well, Governor Lamont grabbed the headlines when he referenced both China and Beyonce to preface his proposal to lock up student cell phones. He made the proposal during his State of the State address last Wednesday here at the state capitol, and ever since then, people have been talking about it.
Social media is sometimes fundamentally antisocial, and I think too much smartphone makes you stupid.
Governor Ned Lamont didn't mince words, floating a ban on student cell phone use in schools, telling kids to put them in a pouch.
We'll be sending out guidance to your school boards pretty soon.
But the Connecticut Association of Boards of Education says that guidance already exists.
We have policies, model policies that we have provided to districts, as you say, for many years.
Some of Connecticut's educational thought leaders agree a total ban isn't a good idea.
I think these are decisions that need to be made at the local level.
I do think that this is best handled at the local level.
And at the local level, Torrington and Manchester are already doing it, contracting with the anti-technology company Yonder to lock cell phones in a pouch at a cost of about $30 per student per year. We found mixed reviews from parents and teachers.
Mobiles nowadays are part of our lives, and locking away things just to get students' attention, I don't think it's the answer.
I absolutely agree with kids not having access to their cell phone while they're in school, because they need to be more focused on their academics.
The case for locking them up includes less distraction, increased focus and interpersonal interaction, and reducing social media bullying.
It may cut down on it, but remember, they're going to pick up those phones at the end of the day and go home. I think we have to get to the root cause.
The argument against a ban includes safety issues like quick access to communication in medical or other emergencies, the lack of school-provided device connectivity in some underfunded districts, plus the extra burden on short-staffed schools to police another policy.
We don't want to put classroom teachers in the position of spending half the class trying to make sure that there are no cell phones hidden in someone's backpack or in their jacket pocket.
And right now, it still remains a little unclear if this is going to end up being just a suggestion or a mandate after all, or if the legislature needs to get involved here. We do know that the governor has filed his own bill. We're live at the state capitol complex in Hartford. Matt Caron, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Well, thank you, Matt. Another high priority for Governor Lamont is funding for early childhood education in Connecticut. Legislators and stakeholders came together today to talk about the issue.
The resources are needed, and we cannot pull the rug from beneath our schools, our boards of education, but more importantly, our children. Because we are all they have when we talk about public education. And we know we have an academic and achievement gap problem in the state of Connecticut. And that problem would not be solved by taking the money away.
Governor Lamont says more funding will improve educational outcomes for children. Well, it's time now for another check of the weather. It was another really chilly day outside today.
Chilly out there. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now to talk about what happens the rest of the week and the all-important weekend, Rachel.
Yeah, we got a lot going on here in the weather department. We have some snow coming through tonight. It will be windy during the day tomorrow, and then another chance for snow in parts of the state for later tomorrow night into Saturday morning. But first things first, let's talk about tonight. You can see an Alberta Clipper approaching. These systems are usually fast moving, and although it looks like it's already snowing across the state, the air is just so bone dry. So this is falling from the clouds and evaporating before it reaches the ground. But I think what you see here off to the west does end up reaching the ground. So 7 o'clock and later, we'll see that snow begin to move through, mainly between 7 and about midnight or so. I also did want to let you know about that wind advisory. That's in effect for tomorrow. We could see gusts tomorrow morning up between 40 to 50 miles per hour, and that could be enough for some isolated power outages and some downed branches. And again, I think those wind gusts peak in the morning, but that wind alert goes all the way until 4 o'clock tomorrow night. So like taking a look at the future radar, around 7 o'clock, we're starting to see that snow move in. It fills in, but just as quickly as it comes through, it's already coming to an end by midnight. Watch for slippery spots tonight. We'll take another full look at your forecast coming up.
Well, there's still more to come on